So Chris, this is a transmission you can find in pretty much any third-gen Dodge pickup. This is the standard 48re transmission, but there's pretty much nothing standard about this. What's the story behind this transmission, and what parts do you have in it?
I knew what I was going to do with the truck. It was get rid of the Allison, go to the 48re. Bought a course, sent it down to Suncoast. I talked to Blake down there. He said, hey man, come on down to our research lab, send your trans, we'll build it, we'll go through it, show you all the cool new stuff we got going on. Got down there, I got set up with Gene down there to build the trans. Basically it's built throughout, like you said, 27 spline input, the big input. You got your billet intermediate shaft and a 29 spline output. The reason we're using the 29 spline output is to mate up to the factory GM transfer case.
Gotcha.
So you'll just use this adapter plate here, and that way the shafts mate each other, no problems at all. Inside the trans, it's got billet direct drum, billet second gear band, anything billet.
Pretty much, yeah, anything to beef that up so you can hold the horsepower and the stress that you're going to be doing. You're trying to clip 9-second quarter miles down the track. You know?
Sure, yeah.
What are you doing for controls? The valve body, anything different? I see that you have air controller here. I guess tell me how that actually works with this transmission.
So basically the valve body in here is one of Brian Carter and everybody knows Ernie down at Suncoast.
Yeah.
One of their workings in here. It's a full manual valve body. So we're going to use an air shifter with an RPM box here. So basically it's going to read the truck's engine RPM. And once it has a certain set point of RPMs, it's going to hit an air solenoid and shift this first, second, third.
Gotcha.
And then it'll also hit overdrive lockup as well through that box.
Right on. Well, it seems like a full complete kit here, the adapter, everything. Let's raise your truck up in the air and stab this in and see how quick she can go. It seems like a pretty easy
yeah, it should be pretty straightforward, and I'm ready to go fast. So.
Right on. Let's do this. Now that we have the Allison transmission out of your truck, you know, we've been talking really highly about this 48re transmission. I don't want to have any misconstrued information out there about the Allison. The Allison is a badass transmission from the factory. It holds roughly 100 horsepower over stock. And then there are many different build applications for the guys that are doing 5, 6, 7, 800 horsepower, 1,000 horsepower of stock. It seems like it's a great daily transmission. What do you think about that?
Yeah, they're a great transmission. They have their place. Going fast is kind of one of their difficult ones. If you're somebody who sled pulls, who tows, who daily drives, that's a great transmission. But if you're trying to, all you'd want to do is daily drag race, this is your option here. I mean, you can, like you said, hold so much power through an Allison. Suncoast has, you know, all the shafts, all the build kits, everything you want to do.
Suncoast makes a makes a bunch of different level kits for the consumer to run that 5, 6, 7,000 horsepower truck applications with a torque converter to match into that, and does great for a lot of applications. But when you're going for 1,500, 2,000 horsepower and trying to break in that 9-second quarter mile, you need something that's almost a little more simpler, something that
2/10 on a shift is that's way too much. So.
So now that we're halfway done with this project, let's roll this underneath the truck, stab it in, and I guess go from there.
Yep. Alrighty. I'm now going to install the Suncoast adapter plate. Goes onto the factory dowel marks, or dowel pins on the back of the engine.
Now the truck's been flashed with the manual transmission tuning, just basically to let it know that the Allison's no longer there and they're going to be doing an air shifter. How exactly does that shifter work, and is it something that you're manually doing, or is it something that you have a computer that kind of takes over everything?
Right, so we spoke before earlier on in the swap that we're going to be using an RPM box here. Basically what this is going to do is pick up engine RPM signal, and we'll add set points for each gear shift for this air shifter. So we'll set, 3,000 RPMs, 3,500 RPMs, whatever we want. We can also go off time, however we want to do. But once that has a certain set point, it will then trigger a solenoid, and it'll run either nitrous or CO2. And that solenoid will blip this once it hits that set point to shift each gear.
Automatically, it's not something that you're having to ship when you're...
Correct, yeah. So this is all pretty much hands off. I start here, make sure this is on, go. And this is going through its thing here.
You're cracking down the track, then it's going first, second, third. And...
Yep, overdrive lockup, all that stuff is done through this box here.
Gotcha.
So,
seems like it's so far been a pretty easy install with the Suncoast 48re swap. It's been going pretty smooth. I mean, it seems like there's a few odd end pieces, as there would be with any type of swap. It's custom application.
Right.
What else do we have left to really kind of complete?
I mean, obviously mounting the shifter right here, getting the linkage all set up, and
getting a bracket to kind of bring into your own little cockpit feel.
Right, just like any other swap, we're going to have little odds and ends that we need to you know, I need to mount a dipstick, I need to mount this shifter, you know.
Just little things. It seems like, you know, other than that, it's pretty much good to go. When, I guess, is your first race, or what's the time frame there, you think?
Man, here, hopefully in the next couple months, the snow will go away. You can go hit the track in Spokane, and hopefully leave it turned down. We can hit some 9s, and should be ready to rock and roll. Should see us out there at a few tracks this year, rocking and rolling. Whoop up on some Dodge boys if we can.
Yep, we'll be out there for sure watching you.
Yeah, that's right.
Good luck, man.
Alrighty, thank you.